If you need space, go back to Africa. Nobody wants you here.
Whoa.
All you do is burn down and ruin stuff. You you unmuted me again, you dumb boomer. Go ahead, protect the protect.
Oh, producer, can we remove them?
Welcome to Racist of the Week.
I can't even see the audience because it's so dark.
Now, this is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we could build a more perfect union and also laugh. This is one I'm going to struggle to find anything funny. As usual, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the page and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Today's nominee, the Denver City Council. Two black elementary school children who spoke at a Denver City Council meeting faced racial abuse from a Zoom participant who called them N's and told them to go back to effing Africa. These two students were from Monarch Montessori School, and they attended the meeting to advocate for several of their school plans. One was in the 4th grade and the other was in the 5th grade. They're part of their school's student leadership committee, and they presented a proposal to build a yurt for music classes and additional classroom space. So think for a moment about a young girl in 4th grade and a young girl in 5th grade who rose to a level of leadership in their school, who get the opportunity to speak to the city council to advocate for additional resources for their programs. Nothing but the most innocent of intentions. And less than a minute into their speech, a female sounding voice interrupted via Zoom with a racist tirade lasting about 30 seconds. The council staff quickly worked to remove the caller, but the tirade included statements like, "You effing little N's," "You should remove the N's," and "It's the Jews that brought them here." Now, one of the girls was so upset she broke into tears and had to be escorted from the podium by her teacher, while the other chose to restart her speech. What do you tell these girls? What exactly is it that you tell these girls in a situation like this? How do you make sense of something like this? As a father of a young daughter, thinking of having to educate her to some of the ways of the world, what is the lesson that you teach her in this instance? And also, it's not lost on me that this is who we are dealing with out here. People that don't have the human decency to protect small children from their ignorance. The same small children that they would have us believe are so delicate that they can't hear about Black history without feeling bad about themselves, right? The same small children who we can't tell the truth about the Civil War, we can't tell the truth about Jim Crow or the Civil Rights Movement, we can't tell them the whole truth because the white kids would feel bad about themselves, but then turn around and have no problem dropping "you little N's" on young Black girls. So apparently, the feelings of young Black girls and young Black children in general isn't something to be considered ever. Not when we're talking about what we can't study in history, not to give them a better understanding of their place in the world, and certainly not when they're here at a Denver City Council meeting just innocently advocating for resources for their school. Now, Council President Jamie Torres condemned the incident, stating the words were vile, as was the character of a person who would actively seek to say these words to two beautiful and courageous young girls. These youth gathered the bravery to bring their voices to their city council representatives to improve their school and community. We honor and praise these two young voices and condemn anyone who would attack them and any other member of our community. I would second that. Now, the disruption derailed the public comment section, preventing two more Monarch Montessori students from speaking about creating safe crossing areas around their school. However, the students were allowed to give their speeches privately to council members afterwards. Some council members stayed after the meeting to offer support and speak with the families. And I applaud those council members who stayed after to offer support and speak with the family. I don't know why it doesn't say all council members stayed after the meeting to offer support and speak with the families. I don't know why you decide to leave. You know what? I think I'm good. I think they got enough support. Besides, I thought maybe the Zoom caller made some good points. So, you know, I don't want to contradict myself by leaving the meeting. I'm also thinking about the students that didn't get a chance to speak, because I'm sure this is something that they really look forward to, watching what happens to their schoolmates and knowing they won't get an opportunity because the public can't be trusted to hear from schoolgirls. That's where we are in 2024, that this has to happen in private because we can't trust the public not to drop ends on little black girls. Now, Giovanni Bro, the girl's teacher, expressed her distress over the incident, saying, as a black woman, bringing these young black students to the city council and getting them so excited was something she was doing for the first time. Seeing them so excited and having to face such behavior was excruciating. Everyone's response was jaws hitting the floor. And I really sympathize with the teacher's position, because while you thought that you were doing an amazing thing by giving them an opportunity to present themselves publicly, now all of a sudden that becomes the vehicle for them learning a very difficult lesson about the black experience. And despite the fact that it being 0% your fault, it would be lost on me if you didn't feel some form of culpability for putting them in this position. Now, Monarch Montessori Executive Director Laura Preddy announced that the school is organizing an event with the school board to celebrate the children's bravery. Quote, I was so proud of the girls for the work they did to prepare and go before the city council to speak. To have something like that happen worries me that it could scare a young person away from engaging in democratic systems and using their voice to advocate for things that they care about. City council administrative staff are investigating the incident, which they called a breach. Typically, public participants in city council meetings via Zoom are muted until they're called on to speak. The caller identified themselves as Charla Nash, but council administrators believe this name is fake because it matches a woman who was attacked by a chimp in 2009. They're working to determine how the disruption occurred and to implement better preventative measures. Now, let me say, I am no stranger to Zoom bombing, okay? I have been in some meetings where a Zoom bomber dropped in and they just say the most outrageous thing they can, which is really quite stupid. I mean, we have to actually feel some appreciation for how stupid and lazy Zoom bombers are, that they just announce themselves immediately. If they really want to be a little more insidious, they'd be a little bit more subtle in their Zoom bombing. So I do want to thank them for their ignorance and their complete lack of attention span. But all that I could wish on this person, they actually presented themselves by referencing Charla Nash, the woman who was attacked by a chimpanzee. So I can only hope about the ugliness that this person feels on the inside, that they would feel the need to drop this on young black schoolgirls. I could only hope for that, but then it becomes clear when you reference Charla Nash. Now, the fact that they had to endure these racist actions and words in our chamber brings us pain. That was Torres. The Denver City Council condemns any hate speech and wants those responsible to know it only serves to motivate us on the City Council, 2 of whom are African American, 6 of whom are Latina, and all of whom will continue to serve proudly as anti-racist council and community members. Now, to the Zoom bomber, is that the conclusion you were looking for? Is that the conclusion you were looking for? Because that's the only conclusion that you were going to get. Now, I had said earlier about the dissonance that it takes to try and protect young white children from having to understand the realities of America's history, but have no problem dropping this on young black girls. How about the fact that while we're having this national debate about DEI, while we're having this national debate about the real race experience in America, you give us all the evidence we need for why that's necessary? You give us all the evidence we need for why that's necessary. You will at the same time argue that our experience is not valid and the things that we are describing to you do not exist but yet this is what young black schoolgirls have to go through, and you're going to give us the video and audio in 2024. That is what I call hustling backwards. Is this what you want? Because I can't imagine that the true architects of white supremacy in America would be pleased with this. This is not how you go about your business. Now, it's how a lot of people have been going about their business lately. It's the reason why I've had to record not one, not two, not three, but 4 of these bad boys within the last 7 calendar days. That is how bold racists have been getting in 2024, which on the one hand, I have to have some appreciation for, because you leave the evidence right here. You leave the evidence right here, all over the web, all over TV, all over Zoom, for people to be able to reference for the work that we need to do in society. So I have to have a little gratitude for you there. But at the same time, it does give me pause for wondering just how bold they will get, that they have no problem doing this in a public forum where they know it's recorded to young school children. What's the line? You tell me what the line is for these people, because they keep claiming that, we need to get back to human decency in America. We need to get back to decorum in America. Is this what you're talking about? This was it? Huh? Okay, so congratulations to the unnamed caller. You are our racist of the week. And I also want to apologize to Charlotte Nash for even being associated with any of this. But as always, if you have somebody you would like to nominate, please leave it in the comments. You can email me at restoutwaters@gmail.com. And thanks to those that sent me this story to suggest it for Racist of the Week. I'm always taking suggestions, so I very much appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the page to make sure you get notified when the next video drops.